I'm Animesh's elder brother. I'm a doctor. I'm currently in Delhi. I'm not in Sikkim for the moment. And I've taken, basically, I wanted to be sensitized on the whole thing, right? So I'll just tell you the story. Animesh came out to me a long time back, like when I was in my MBBS. That'd be around 2009 to 10. And it was really difficult for me to like, really accept it in the beginning. It wasn't easy, and it was something new. It was something I was never exposed to. So it sort of made me feel a little bit weird. I'm really sorry, but it sort of made me feel like that. And it's taken me a very long time, to actually accept the whole thing and to see, that what he's been through and to be sensitized. And the reason I've joined this is just to be sensitized more to know, like, what's happening and Animesh really he opens up to me, but he doesn't tell me everything, and I felt I could really know a lot more if I actually joined this and heard what he has to say and what others have to say, and I really have to say I've been sensitized a lot. I've been really touched by what Yusa has said, what Vigyal has said, and being a doctor myself, a lot of questions were put up by Vigyal that doctors aren't sensitized, that they don't know what's going on, and they are not aware, and they don't really take care. When you go to the clinic, they don't really listen, and they are sort of prejudiced. And I agree with it. I agree because I think it's all born out of ignorance. Nobody really knows, what you people go through as a community, and and uh, and the real thing to it is, I think Ragyal said a very important point. He said very early that come out, see that this is happening and this is what I am. And I really think that's a really important thing because my sensitization started ever since Animesh actually came out to me. The first time he told me, that's when I really realized that this happens and it's there. And I feel really ashamed, because he told so many things, when he was young, he was facing so many issues, and he was alone, that really hit me a lot because, I really have wanted to be there for him, to have supported him all those times, and I couldn't, and I'm really ashamed of that, and I'm really sorry. But I am sensitized now, and I'm aware, and I'm going to be there for him no matter what. But I would say, at least from a doctor's perspective, in terms of LGBTQ information in the health community, we have a textbook of medicine called Harrison's, like that's sort of a Bible. That's what we study. That's the absolute information for medical information, right? And it had a number of editions coming out. The earliest edition was way early in the 1900s, and now we have a 20th edition going on. And this edition actually has a chapter on LGBTQ for the first time ever. It's only 3 pages. It's not a big chapter per se, but it's a start. It does define, the various gender identities, and it does give some stress on the mental health issues that are faced by the community as a whole. And I'd really like to say, like, it is a big mental health issue. Not having the freedom to express what you are and not having the freedom to just be yourself is a big issue because you've got a very short life, and I really don't believe anybody should be living in that way, hiding, and as Anish said, covering yourself in layers. And you've got my support at the very least, and I've started sensitizing at least my friends in the doctors community. I'm not in Sikkim right now, but I'm going to be back soon, maybe next year, and I'm going to start sensitizing them. I've asked Dr. Palvin, who's a cardiologist in Sikkim, a very dear friend of mine, to join him as well for today, so even he can know, what are the issues faced. And I think it's very sad because Melissa told, he faced a lot of bullying when he went to college. He couldn't even go through the normal gate. He had to go through like a separate pathway, when nobody could see him, nobody could tell him. He had to like think beforehand, like, are these going to be people there beforehand to like tease me and to bully me? And I think that has really, caused a lot of problems for him. I think it has really hurt his potential. Because you can't really bring out your best potential when you're not mentally well, not mentally stable, and it's a really sad thing. So I believe everybody has something to contribute to society as a whole, and definitely we should go ahead and you can count on my support. I'll be back in Sikkim next year, probably, hopefully, and definitely you can count on my support. Never think you're alone. I'm there. And of course, Mesh is there as well. Animation will be there for everybody if you feel. Of course, you have a community, I understand, but in case you feel you want an outsider support, then I'm always there. And that's all I really want to say. I'm there. I'm really touched by what everything said, and nobody should have to go through something like that. Nobody, it's really bad. We need to do something. I'm going to take steps, at least in my physicians community. I'm going to start sensitizing them. I'm going to start talking to them about this, and I'm going to make sure that as much as possible you have access to physicians, that they're sensitized to your issues and they listen to you. And if they don't, then I'm available. You can always talk to me. So that's all. I really don't have a question. Actually, this is something I wanted to say. So that's all I have to say.
Firstly, thank you, Abhishek, for sharing your thoughts and really speaking on behalf of the doctors community and also on behalf of my family. So thank you very much. That's really gonna come a long way, and I was really happy that Dr. Palden was also a part of this. We need, when I said things like, I mean, where are the policymakers in the first place? You know, they need to be here in these spaces, talking, listening to us, and we're using so much energy. Rigel, Anup, Medusa, and I, we have spent. It's a very taxing thing to recount all of these childhood memories, traumas, time and again भनेको भन्यो गर्नुपर्छ सबैजनालाई है त्यो पनि हामीलाई कस्तो डरलाग्दो एनर्जी लिन्छ हाम्रो एकदमै अब आई रियली applaud Rigel, Medusa, Anup, all three of you for being able to share so bravely and so courageously तपाईँको पहिला पहिलाको कुरा भन्दाखेरि मलाई त कस्तो ट्रिगर हुन्छ अब त्यस्तोको मैले त डिटेल्सहरू भनिन पनि खासमा त बेसी जति हो कस्तो खालके ट्रमाजहरू छ सेक्सुअल ट्रमाजहरू कति छ विदिन द कम्युनिटी इट्सेल्फ कति साह्रो ट्रमा हुन्छ हो त्यो आधी कुरा त मैले यति मात्रै भनेको छु अहिले हो सो त्यो कुराहरू रिकाउन्ट गर्नु हामीलाई निकै एनर्जी चाहिन्छ न हामीलाई कहिले कसैले पैसा दिन्छ यसको लागि न हामीलाई कसैले अब केही अब गर्छ नो रेकग्निसन एन्ड वेन दोज पिपल हु रियली हेभ पावर इन देयर ह्यान्ड्स are not even present in these kind of conversations, then what are we really doing? So I feel like whatever issues have been brought up, whatever stories have been shared in this particular session, really needs to be analyzed, needs to be documented really well, so that Rainbow Hills Care Project can build on all of these issues and go deeper. And invite all of these policymakers, like let's invite the chief minister for this conference. You know, why not? Let's invite the people, MLAs and the MPs for this. Like, why can't they listen to us? Like, why can't they join these spaces? Until the time they come and listen and they come here as allies and they listen to us. I don't know where these conversations are really going, and I don't know if it's really beneficial and valuable for us, people like Rigel, me, Medusa, and Anup, to share our stories and our perspectives, having using so much energy, you know. So that's why let's put pressure on these policymakers and politicians to join these spaces, these conversations from the next time onwards. And the doctors community, like Dr. Palden and others, those people who really have a lot of power in their hands. So that is my message, I think, to people. Some last words.
All the queer population or the people that come under the queer community, I just want to tell them, like, you guys just come out of the closet, because I feel that more we hide, more we hide, more insignificant and invisible we become. So just don't compromise your life thinking what will people think. मेरो कुनै कोले के भन्ला हुन्छ नि, because I feel that life is very short. It is too short to compromise our life, and एकै खेप आउँछ जिन्दगी हो. So live the way you want, जस्तो आफूले आइडेन्टिफाई गर्छ भित्रबाट जस्तो फिल हुन्छ त्यसरी लिभ गर्नु. बिकज इभन मैले पनि एक टाइममा दुईटा हुन्छ नि, अब आई युज टु फिल डिफरेन्ट फ्रम इनसाइड, टु लाइफ्स हुन्छ नि, एन्ड विच वाज रियली साह्रो पर्छ क्या. इट्स भेरी हार्ड टु लिभ टु लाइफ. सो आई जस्ट वान्ट टु टेल, हाइडिङ हुन्छ नि अहिले डरले कसैले के सोच्छ भनेर बसिरहेको छ, साइलेन्टली उनीहरू सफर गरिरहेछ. आई जस्ट वान्ट टु टेल देम जस्ट कम आउट हुन्छ नि. एन्ड आफै आइसकेपछि लाइफ थ्रु माई एक्सपिरियन्स हुन्छ नि. I want to say,
I would like to say that okay, coming out is absolutely a choice, and if you don't want to for now, you may choose to not. And I think that we don't live for the straight world to accept us, to approve of us, because the straight world itself is pretty much messed up. And I would say that the straight world, the so-called straight world, should not really assume that they are really too straight, because I mean, the next thing we think about monogamy is when it's going to break. And desires are absolutely disruptive of any structure, whether it's marriage or any other kind of a structure that we want to sort of control it in, or bottle it, or sort of keep it safe and secure so that we'll be safe. And I think we need to really start talking about sex more openly, more freely, talking about our desires, about our life, our experiences with ourselves, with our most intimate selves. And I think that the more we start talking about that, we'll see that we also are really queer in a sense that queer means questioning the structures that sort of solidify our identities into certain types, and these types are just defenses, some kind of very, very insignificant shields that we have taken up so that we can be accepted by those people around us, our parents, maybe our family members, extended family members, and so on. And trust me, they also are pretending. So all of them are really pretending to be what they are not. Many of us, most of us. And I think the moment we start talking about who we are, what we like, who we desire, what are our sexual fetishes, fantasies, what do we really think about intimacy, how do we want to be loved, what is love, and all that, I think that will sort of make us more human. Let's become more human. Let's become more soft, a little, supple, open, accepting, kind. Let us let out our humanity and reach out to the other. Let's touch, let's feel, let's listen, let's accept and embrace. And let's not judge or assume. Thank you.